They are the best of the next generation of lumberjack sports competitors. Known as the rookie class, they're ready to take on 5 chopping and sawing disciplines, a challenge that now includes the always daunting springboard chop. The stage is big, the pressure is on. Who will prevail and become the STIHL Timbersports U.S. Rookie Champion?
Good afternoon, Virginia Beach. Welcome to the STIHL Timbersports U.S. Rookie Championships. Here we go. We've got a lot happening here. We have 8 rookie athletes that have qualified to be here today. Only one will travel to the Netherlands to compete for the United States June 10th in Rotterdam. My name is Super Dave Jewett. I competed for 25 years in STIHL Timbersports, the original extreme sport. But today I'm fortunate enough to be on the stage calling this event. This is going to be extremely exciting. Again, 8 athletes trying to move on. 3 chopping events, 2 sawing events, but I'm going to have a little help on the stage today from another retired timber sports athlete, a crosscut world record holder, my buddy, Kevin Holtz.
Well, thank you very much, Dave. I'm so proud to be called your buddy. I'm also so very glad to be here in Virginia Beach with you all. Dave and I are virtually neighbors. We only live about, 20 minutes apart from each other in upstate New York, so it's awesome to drop down to Virginia, get some sunshine, get a little warm weather, because it isn't quite as nice up by where we are. As Dave mentioned, this is the U.S. Rookie Championship here for the STIHL Timbersports Series. You're going to see the up-and-comers, the getter-goers, the future stars of the STIHL Timbersports Series competing in 5 different disciplines.
Absolutely. The first event is right here. It's a springboard, the most difficult event, the most strenuous event. The athletes will be cutting a pocket into this tree, inserting a board with a metal clip on the end, like a key and a lock. The clip will actually hold these 200-pound plus athletes. The athletes will ascend, chop this block on their strong hand, but then have to go to that awkward backhand to sever the log from the backside.
A lot of variables in that springboard event. That's where there are just so many opportunities for things to derail and fall apart in this springboard event. Tomorrow, not tomorrow, but in the championship rounds for our professionals, you see a 2-board event. Start the rookies off with 1 board. After the springboard event, we're going to put the axes away and get out the steel stock saw event. Competitors are going to have to make 2 cuts on the horizontally affixed logs that you see behind us. I always equate this to a golf swing. There are so many little nuanced details. On the surface, it seems easy. The chainsaw is a beautifully tuned chainsaw. The wood is pristine, just 2 cuts. But the slightest miscalculation can send you from first to mid-pack within 100th of a second.
A down cut and an up cut using identical steel MS661s, making 2 complete discs on a 40-centimeter log. Then we go back to the axes. These $700 axes come out for the standing block chop or vertical chop. Anyway, it's vertical. It's like chopping down a tree, but this time they're on the ground. They'll cut the front end, run around in a 3 to 4 step transition, take the log off from the backside.
You mentioned those $700 axes. We saw one of those $7 axes meet its maker earlier today in time trials with our professional athletes. A very gifted axeman put steel axe into steel stand and ruined a $700 axe. We hope we don't see that same rookie mistake from our competitors here today.
Yeah, not the way to get your daily dose of iron, but he caught it today. Everything's safe. The competitors actually use protective shin guard and foot guards in case of a mishap like that. Then we go to the real expensive equipment, the misery whip, the cross-cut saws, 1-person cross-cut, 1 handle, cutting a 40-centimeter log. They're calling them misery whips because they can whip it again. They're $3,000 to get one of these saws, hand-filed in a 2 to 3 year waiting list. My favorite event, I can't wait for the single buck.
Yeah, I've never heard you actually refer to it as a misery whip other than here on stage.
It was always fun. I don't know what the problem was.
The rest of us just have some kind of disorder. You're fine. That's no problem. So once we get done with the single buck event, we're going to turn our attention to the underhand stands. They'll be affixed here on the stage. It will be a horizontal log. Our competitors will stand on top of the log, chop halfway through one side, turn like a helicopter to the backside, and finish the log from the backside. We did see a professional competitor in the time trials, though, fail to do so. They missed it by like a 16th of a swing where they didn't quite separate the fibers of the log. So again, another opportunity for our rookies to learn from the mistakes of our professional competitors.
Well, the nerves are happening because this is truly the first Steel Timber Sports event of 2023. The competitors are just getting warmed up, but we are happy to have all the sponsors back again for 2023, especially Steel. Steel putting on Steel Timber Sports. They're dropping $50,000 into the men's U.S. trophy event tomorrow, and they've just been supporting us again. I came into the sports just a few years after it started in '87, and it has exploded worldwide, which is why we are now going to the metric system for logs. So now I had to learn centimeters and millimeters, but again, 26 plus countries involved right now. And how about Ace Hardware?
Yeah, Steel Timber Sports has absolutely exploded, and we thank Steel for all their support. And of course, we're in Virginia Beach, home of the U.S. division of Steel, right here in Virginia Beach. So we can't thank them enough for their sponsorship. You mentioned Ace Hardware. All the stuff that you see being used on the stage here today is available at your local Ace Hardware. I've got one right down the road from me. Frank's my owner. I know him by name. Great places. They are the helpful place. John Deere, another great sponsor of the Steel Timber Sports Series.
I know. I was fighting for years to win that John Deere Gator. I always came up short, but I always got nervous when I knew there was a big prize on the line. They said, we're giving away a John Deere Gator. And I go, oh, no, here comes the nerves. And everybody wanted that. I never got it, but I'm so happy to still be involved with Steel Timber Sports promoting John Deere.
Absolutely. They've been a great asset to have here at the Steel Timber Sports Series. Of course, we got to thank Duluth Trading Company. They have outfitted all of our deck crew, all of the competitors. They're all looking sharp with great Duluth Trading Company products. Awesome sponsors. We hope that you join us in supporting our sponsors so they continue to support us so we can do what we love here on this stage.
I'm sensing that there's 8 anxious athletes behind us.
Yeah.
We're going to start to bring them out.
I'm getting out of here.
Let's do it. It's a warm day. Let's get going. All the way from Hopkinton, New Hampshire, Daniel Miner. Let's bring him out. Big round of applause. I'm going to move out of the way. And from Orbisonia, Pennsylvania, big round of applause, Gavin Brumbo. Check out the size of this guy, 300 pounds plus, 6'8" from Valencia, New York, Bradley Kittle. And all the way from the Wisconsin Dells, our first time seeing this gentleman, Chester Isaacson. And from Cobleskill, New York, big round of applause, A.J. Fletcher. And from Taunton, Massachusetts, big round of applause. He's all healed up and ready to go, William Chamberlain. And the man who's won the Springboard Shop the last 2 years in the rookie division from Pigeon Forge, Tennessee, Tristan Van Beek. And rounding out the field from East Aurora, New York, our returning champion. Give it up for Andrew O'Connell. There you go. One big round of applause for our 8 athletes. They fought hard to get here. They're all going to be fighting again for that position to represent the United States June 10th in Rotterdam in the Netherlands. Ladies and gentlemen, please rise if you are able. Please remove your hats for the playing of our national anthem. I have two more gentlemen to bring on stage. Couple head judges going to be refereeing the match today. Let's bring out Rich Hallett, coming all the way from New Hampshire. He's been here since the beginning, making a lot of the tough calls. He's got the yellow flag in his back pocket. That's all the drama packing back there. We know if the yellow flag comes out, it could be a disqualification or they're going to review it. We have another head judge coming in all the way from Canada, from New Brunswick. Hey, big round of applause. His first time in U.S. Timber Sports, Jonathan Russell. Well, before we start anything, Kevin, I want to say I called you my buddy because I need my throwing axe fixed, and I know you have a welder. So you are my buddy until my throwing axe just fits. Let's talk about this first event, though, the one-board springboard.
Yeah, so the one-board springboard, you can see we've got two yellow poplar or tulip poplar poles affixed to these metal bases. They're 6-foot-high poles with one area peeled for the competitor to set their springboard pocket in. Ideally, you want to peel as little of that pole as possible, be as accurate as possible, because the bark and the layers just under that bark act like a band and help hold those wood fibers in. So some of these poles are maybe opened up a little bit bigger than I'd like to see, but it is what it is. We're all learning here at the rookie level.
Right, and just because it's a one board, as opposed to the professionals who go up two boards, a lot of athletes, they rush that bottom pocket, and I think they're learning their lesson. They have to stay, do the business, make sure, because you're up there a while, and if you have a compromised board, you're just going to be struggling to gain those points back over the next four events.
Yeah, the one and only board these competitors are going to cut is the top board. Like you say, you're going to be up there a while. You're going to be cutting your block up there. In a two-board event, the first board is a quick board just to get you up to the top.
Okay, let's do it. Heat one in the springboard on stand number one, Daniel Miner. That's all right. Yeah, give it up. And his opponent on stand number two on the left, Gavin Brumbo. Sorry, Gavin to the right. Got it. Both these athletes, their first year to STIHL Timbersports, feeling the atmosphere on the stage. A couple different levels of these pockets.
Athletes ready.
Stand to your timber. 3, 2, 1, go!
Like Brumbo's got that pocket up quite high. Look at the speed, though. We're going to see a lot of the boards. If they get a good board set, the back of the board is going to be slightly uphill. The hope is that the body weight will actually pull the board level, because you know how much is driven off the back leg.
Yeah, I was also concerned about that pocket height for Gavin as well, and you can just see he was so out of position, he was so out of his comfort zone that just naturally his swing brought that pocket down lower than where he had it drawn. That might actually play to his advantage. Stand number one, Daniel Miner, though, has got a good-looking, wide-open front face there. He's stepping down on his upper hits a little bit, but if he can maintain that, he'll have plenty of cuttable wood. He can work well into that block.
Brumbo almost to the backside. He's hitting that far side. Will he cut? No, he's doing this is a total legal move. Just downward slicing motion. 3 in the back. These guys are rookies.
Yeah,
cutting like absolute professionals today. Let's keep it going, though. A lot of points on the line for Daniel Miner.
Gavin with very smart cutting on there. Of course, this is not like the standing block where you can run around the backside of your block. You've got to do as much as you can on the front side of this log, and he did. Clearly, that log was about ready to go. 3 slashing blows on the backside. Daniel Miner is also down as well.
A lot of sportsmanship. You could hear Brumbo cheering on Daniel, but, you know, I thought that pocket was too high, but clearly He had thought that through. He knew it would settle, pull that chop right into his power zone. A beautiful chop for Gavin.
Nice job, gentlemen. Both cuts are good.
Hey, let's not wait around. Let's get right into this. I thought your pocket looked like it was marked too high, but it really pulled you right into the power zone. Talk about the mechanics of this clip, getting right to the back of the pocket.
Yeah, this clip, it actually has a hook on the end of it that you can see. And that hook, you want that hook going right into the tree on an angle. So that pocket has to be shaped the same exact way as this clip. So, yeah, it just settled down and it was perfect height for me.
And you did all the work in the front, only 3 hits in the back, unofficially around 53 seconds. Good job.
Thank you, thank you.
All right, take care. There you go. First year, Gavin Brumbaugh.
Well, our times are in from our first heat. Gavin Brumbaugh is going to come in with a 53.36. Daniel Miner, a minute 17.67. Dave, in this event, in the Springboard event, because there are so many steps, there's so many opportunities for things to go right or wrong, this tends to be one of the events where we see the largest elapsed time between first and worst, if you will. Stock saw, some of the other disciplines, things will really tighten up. First place to last place, maybe there's only just a second or two. In this event, there might be a full minute between first place and last place.
Well, like what you said, it's steps.
Yeah.
And that's the best way to look at this Springboard step. Step 1, cut your pocket. Don't think about the block up top. Step 2, set your axe in the block. Step 3, get on the board, get in position. Step 4, cut the front. 5, 3 hits in the back. And that's it. That's the way to look at it. I like it. Daniel, he did a
Piece
great
of cake.
Yeah, I mean, that guy seemed calm. He did a great interview. Seemed like he's a veteran up on stage. And to tell you, 53 seconds, that's a good time. Watch, but Tristan Van Beek winning the Springboard 2 years in a row when he's back. Yeah, we got more to come. I just wish they'd pull that music down. Heat number 2 of the Springboard on stand, number 1 from Valencia, New York, the big man, Bradley Kittle. And his opponent from the Wisconsin Dells, Chester Isaacson. Well, Kevin, I can't wait to see this. If Bradley can just get that pocket in. He said he's 6'8", 300 pounds. He's phenomenal. I watched some videos of him single bucking. He's just maximizing the equipment, but this is finesse. Cutting these pockets, it's a science. I can't figure out a better analogy than a key and a lock, but you gotta have that right key. And he's marked out a massive area. They got a quite deep pocket, but you know, remember the days of Dion Lane, Jason Wynyard? They're 300 pounds. They've managed to put a 4-hit pocket in back in the day, and I never thought they could do it, but the big guys hit harder, hit deeper, and take advantage of that.
Athletes ready.
Stand to your timber. 3, 2, 1, go!
And watch Chester Isaacson from Wisconsin Dells. He just recently did a training session with Adam Lethgo and Matty Slingerland, two of the best springboarders in the country. And that pocket, boy, it looks good from here.
Got trouble on stand number one, though. Kittle had a good-looking pocket. He had one hit get away from him, and then that just leads, one bad hit leads to another. He's going to get the back of that pocket cleaned out, make sure there's no chips in the back. Stand number two, though, Isaacson is running away with this heat.
A massive Cassidy Shear-esque swing. He was almost reaching too far. 53 seconds in jeopardy at the 36-second mark. He's got a couple pros yelling to him, get out of it. Around to the backside, 42 seconds. Where did this guy come from? Chester Isaacson absolutely destroying this log.
He's got some work to go, though. He's got to reach those far fibers. One more blow. There it is.
Wow, that moved at the 53. He may unofficially take second. Let's keep it going, though, for Big Bradley Kittle. A beautiful board set. Using the spring of that board, using the spring off his back leg, looking right into the scarf. It's great technique. He just had a little trouble with that pocket.
Drawing big chips. He's now down to the small wood. He's going to bail out and get on the back side of it. Two slashing blows. He's going to have to draw some kind of a chip out of there. Whether he just drops down, there's a chip coming out now. Whether he drops down with his slashes or puts in an up hit. Kittle finds those last fibers. A big wave to the crowd.
Again, both these athletes, it's their first time on the big stage with Steel Timber Sports, and you've got to give them credit. This is the best springboarding I've seen from rookie athletes. But I'm unbelievably impressed with Chester Isaacson. Again, he said he went down to Tennessee. He trained with Adam Lethgo. Adam Lethgo is just notorious in the springboard.
Yes.
And if that's not enough, Matty Slingerland was there.
Yeah.
Who's got one of the best left-hand, right-hand swings.
Nice job, gentlemen. Both cuts are good.
Well, Dave, certain parts of the country are going to keep coming up over and over again when we talk about these rookie competitors, like Pigeon Forge, like the Dells. You're going to start hearing a few different things that are keep coming back over and over. And part of that is a lot of these rookie competitors are ending up clustered at lumberjack shows, lumberjack entertainment events. So you'll see a lot of these guys going from one lumberjack entertainment event to another, training with guys, going back to their event. This is where they've got to really realize, though, shows can look fast. Here you've got to be fast. So there's a lot of mental effort that goes into the training to be on this stage and post exceptional times. And these guys are putting in the work.
Yeah, and a little backstory on Chester Isaacson. What a talented athlete. He's been doing shows for Cassidy Shear in the Wisconsin Dells. Very similar Cassidy Shear's swing. But he's also been speed climbing. He's fearless. He's going to go up 60 feet, up and down, fearless. But he also takes these steel chainsaws. He was showing me his chainsaw carving ability. I thought I was a good carver. He goes, oh, yeah, check out. He did a rapid video of carving a hummingbird. Talented guy. Anybody can run a chainsaw like that, climb 60 feet, cut a springboard like that. You know, he's got a future in timber sports as far as I'm concerned.
Well, he certainly carved a beautiful springboard pocket. A couple of things got a little bit away from him on the block at the top. But again, first year in Steel Timber Sports, and he's posting really solid times.
Yeah, right now he's wondering where could I have gained that second. He's about unofficially a second and a half behind, but he's wondering where could he have grabbed that. Because I thought he had a great pocket. It's all hit placement, though. When he sees this on TV, online, he's going to see this hit placement. His down hits were way too far. The chip hung there. So you can gain time, not just, you don't have to hit the log anymore, any less. You just have to be in the right place, and you're going to gain those hits because the chip moved out. It's a science of dismantling a log.
And you and I both preach that dismantling process. For the casual observer, it's get up and hit the log and just keep smashing until it falls apart. But it is, as you put it, it's a strategic disassembly. We're taking these things apart. If you mess up one hit, that is going to put you behind for the next hit or interfere with your next hit. You got to go back and fix where you went wrong. You've been talking about Isaacson. We just had the official times up on the screen there for the folks watching on the webcast. 1 second. 1 second.
That's one
hit. That's all he's lacking right now. So he could find, I guarantee he could find 3 or 4 hits. There's the times back up again. 53-10 for Brumbaugh, 54-16 for Isaacson, and Miner and Kittle. Obviously, there's some room to improve there, but at this stage in a competitive career, these guys are going to see exponential gains. From chop 1 to chop 2 will be your largest gains. From year 1 to year 2, big gains. By the time, I don't know, guys get to be 20-something years into this, we're fighting for thousandths of a second. We're not fighting for whole seconds or half a minute anymore. So it's exciting to watch these guys compete. You can just tell they're just going to juggernaut. These times are going to fall off the table.
Well, they're training smart. And what I mean by that is they're going to get professional. They're avoiding the 5 years down the road. I taught myself wrong. Now I have to relearn. So they're building a technique. They're working on a technique, but the technique, it has to work for you. You can work on a technique and find out you're doing the wrong thing. You're reinforcing it. Mel Lentz and I, everybody knows the king of all lumberjacks, Mel Lentz, we were texting about reinforcing bad habits and how bad it sets you back. And I'm just not seeing a lot of unfixable bad habits. A lot of things that are quickly fixable. But you go in 4 or 5 years of thinking you know what you're doing, then having to reteach yourself. But you dug yourself in pretty deep, and you may lose another 2, 3, 4 years trying to fix something that's just not working.
And some of the things we're even seeing out here that you say, like, they're all fixable, it already may be up there. They may already have that information, but get out here with the music, get out here with the lights, get out here with us over here yammering away. You know, it all gets in your head.
Heat 3 of the Springboard on stand number 1, I believe, A.J. Fletcher from Cobleskill, New York. And we are so psyched to have this gentleman back after a nasty injury last year from Taunton, Massachusetts, Will Chamberlain. There you go, Will, on the right side of your stage. Yeah, well, we saw it. He took a nasty, hey, let's call it what it is, a nasty injury last year. Had to have some surgery, repair a nerve. And he says he's got, I'm assuming, about 90% of his muscles back, whatever. I mean, he's coming back. And he said, I'm young, I'm gonna keep coming back, I'm gonna keep fighting. The doctors said, keep doing what you're doing, you're only gonna get stronger. And I'm just so excited to see this guy, the red squirrel they call him, and you'll find out why in a moment.
Athletes ready.
Stand to your timber. 3, 2, 1, go!
Will Chamberlain just wound up, ready to go. A.J. Fletcher, a beautiful opening, just missing that bottom hit. But it's so important. Those opening hits are so crucial. They just got to get the heel of that axe in, bore it in. Chamberlain throws that axe up. You could hear that block crack. Fletcher right with him, but a compromised board set.
Yeah, I don't like what oh, there it is on stand number 1. I don't like what I'm seeing there. He's got a lot of bark peeled away from that pocket. It's a really shallow pocket. You could hear that tulip poplar, that yellow poplar just peel right up through there. Now he's got a loose wall of wood. You can almost hear it on those first couple of hits where that top of that pocket's slapping back into the tree.
At the 44-second mark, Chamberlain right there in the race, getting the small wood out. Just slowing down a little bit. Wow, Fletcher has got a beautiful board now, and look at that power.
Oh, look at Chamberlain's block on stand number 2, just absolutely shredding that board. Down hits, one right after the other, just slashing. He's got a little bit of fiber on the far side. There it is. Chamberlain off. Very tough go, very tough start, I should say, for A.J. Fletcher. Got a great-looking board set now, though. All he can do is try to grab as many steal points as possible.
Yeah, he's rolling that hit in. But you've got to think that Will Chamberlain, what an unload of emotion, an unload of power, an unload of emotion that he's back. There you go. One more hit. And we're going to get a word. We're going to get a word with Will Chamberlain before he scurries off the stage. But that's a great cut. I got to think from what he's gone through in the recovery, that's a heck of a cut for Chamberlain.
Nice job, gentlemen. Both cuts are good.
Boy, I'd love for them to turn the music down a little bit so I can talk to my buddy Will Chamberlain. Will, what a journey in the last year. You have to, I mean, I called it an unload of power, an unload of emotion in the backside of that log. How you feeling? What happened?
Well, that pocket didn't go how I planned it. That's the ugliest one I've cut in a while. But really, Dave, like you said, it just felt really good to be back here again, be swinging an axe again. For a while there, I wasn't sure how long it'd be until I could. So I'm just so happy to be here. I'm going to do the best I can to win, but I'm having fun no matter what.
How's the strength in that left arm?
Oh, it's not what it used to be, but it's coming back every day, getting better every day. It's a long process.
All right, long day. You got 4 events to go. Good luck. Hey, big round of applause for Will Chamberlain. Great to have him back.
We got our numbers in up on the leaderboard here. Will Chamberlain moves himself safely into third place. He's got a 106.72. Again, he's a ways back off our leader, Gavin Brumbaugh, but at the same time, like you said, Dave, he's just glad to be back at this point. We're glad to see him back and see the recovery that he's had. It was a scary moment in Little Rock last year, and it's been a long road between surgeries and recovery, but you can see he's coming back around.
Oh, yeah, he almost just felt like, I don't even want to talk about the injury. I want to talk about the mistake I made in that pocket. And that's a great mental state to be in. He's like, he just wanted to cut another pocket and fix it. Well, he'll have another day to do it, and it may be in Rotterdam. You never know.
We've kind of alluded to this already, just the difference between training or going to other competitions or being at a show site and coming here on this stage. And so in his recovery, in his training, I'm sure he's cut dozens and dozens and dozens of pockets, and he's probably cut pockets in his backyard at a training area. He's probably gone to compete with or train with other competitors, and then you come here. And it's just a different environment. It's the lights, the noise, the music, the prizes, the potential to advance. Oh, yeah, it just plays with you.
There's a lot of different levels of being ready. There's training in the backyard ready. There's pressure ready. There's big stage ready. There's fitness ready. He's got them all. He's got them all right. He's got them all going, and he's only going to get stronger, which is great news for Will. Final heat of the Springboard. All the way from Pigeon Forge, Tennessee. The winner of the Springboard for the last U.S. trophy event, the last two, Tristan Van Beek. And our returning champion from East Aurora, New York, Andrew O'Connell. Tristan Van Beek's personal best time, a 44.98. He cut that last year in Pigeon Forge, looking to repeat that Andrew O'Connell, only 2 seconds behind with his personal best. So we got Van Beek on your left, O'Connell on your right, making a couple last-minute adjustments, getting that dust off the stage. Proper footing. This deck has just been recoated with a sandpaper coating, and these athletes are loving it.
Yeah, so Dave, you mentioned the sandpaper coating. Well, we just we over-sanded around stand number 2, apparently. One of the sand bags that's used to hold the boards in place ruptured. So Andrew O'Connell called it to the deck crew's attention that they had a ruptured sandbag over there, and they came out, made quick work of it, cleaned it up.
Well, we are in Virginia Beach. Gonna
Yeah.
be right on the beach next year.
Yes.
We're gonna be back right on the beach.
Athletes ready.
Stand to your timber. 3, 2, 1, go!
Final heat of the Springboard, 53 seconds the time to beat. These are your 2 top-ranked Springboarders. Van Beek doing what he does best. First on the top board. Look at this man go.
They were
Slight stick, cutting the big wood out.
Yeah, they were swing for swing at the start of the pocket. It was synchronized chopping, but Andrew O'Connell had to go back. He literally put double the hits in that bottom pocket compared to Van Beek. Van Beek is running away from this, running away with this heat, running away from Andrew O'Connell.
Personal best of 44.98 in jeopardy. He's going to take it down if he keeps on this pace. One more hit in the back. Holy cow! Sub 40 seconds. Tristan Van Beek. Keep it going for last year's champion O'Connell. Look at this massive swing. This is another Cassidy shear swing. Just roundhousing it. Got another couple hits in the backside. Very stubborn white pine. There it goes. But what are we doing? 39. I saw 39 seconds. And Tristan did not even look like he was breathing heavy.
A beautifully cut pocket. He put all the work into that pocket. He saved a significant number of hits, was up on that board. The board held beautiful, and then he could just go to work. He was comfortable. He was calm, cool, collected. He was totally at home on that board. Great pocket, great board set, great chop.
He was springing off that back leg so hard he lost his balance, regained it, acted like nothing ever happened. We'll get a word with Tristan in a moment.
Nice job, gentlemen. Both cuts are good.
That's an understatement. Pretty good. That cut was great. I'm waiting on the official time. We know you were around 44 seconds, your personal best, around 39. But your facial expression never changed. You really didn't start gritting until you got into the last few hits in the front side. How difficult is it for you to be relaxed on this stage, or are you just faking it for us?
The goal is to train enough to stand there and just do what you've trained and not think and not worry about the stuff you might be worried about if you didn't train enough. So that's what I tried to do today.
An unbelievable amount of power. Tell us what it's like, the necessity of generating power from your legs in this event.
I mean, since it all starts from the legs up, you have to use everything to get all the power into it. So legs, hips, shoulders, arms, it all works together. So.
All right, we're waiting on that unofficial time to come in. Good luck, congratulations, and let's get ready for the next event. Hey,
Well,
big round of applause.
Dave, hold on
Tristan,
one
whoa,
second.
all right,
Hold on one
right.
second. Tristan, I'd like you to hold on 1 second as well. So I don't have the numbers yet, but it's pretty rare that somebody comes up behind me and just taps me on the shoulder. I mean, we're working here, right? Like, we're doing a broadcast, so like people don't just tap you on the shoulder. Ladies and gentlemen, Tristan Van Beek's time in the one-board Springboard is a new record. How about a round of applause for our new record holder, Tristan Van Beek. There's his official time, a 37.98. Yeah, now you can leave, Tristan. Go get ready to do another new world record.
He had such a pace, I didn't even count the number of blows it took him to make that pocket. But once you got up there, you just knew it was over. He was going.
Yeah, both he and Andrew started out designing and creating great springboard pockets. They, from this perspective, looking down the stage, they were swing for swing in sequence. They both had the right mindset. They were both designing the best pocket. Something went wrong, though, for Andrew O'Connell. The wheels fell off the cart. He literally put double the number of blows in that pocket that Tristan Van Beek did, and it showed. It put him so far behind to get to that block. He had a decent cut up top, but he was just light years behind getting to the block.
Well, we've got a standing block coming up. That's the log that's vertical. My point is, always Brian Wamsley making noise in the background, isn't it? Always Wamsley. There he is again. Andrew O'Connell didn't cut a great springboard. The log was vertical. That guy has won the standing block chop, I believe, the last 2 years. So just wait. Hang on for the standing block chop, or the log will be fixed to the stage. He will not be on a board.
They would delete the whole springboard pocket thing, just let him cut the block. Why didn't
yeah.
we think of that in the first place?
Yeah, I wouldn't doubt it if O'Connell changed his axes. His axe, I thought, looked a little dead in the log. But if he just unleashes, so I'm excited for it's 2 events down the road. We still have a stock saw coming up. But boy, watch Andrew. He trains hard with a professional, Mark Beauquin, and he just chops like a man twice his size.
And going back to your point about the axe, you and I can sit up here and go, you know what? That just sounds dead in the wood. It just doesn't sound bright. Doesn't sound lively. Doesn't sound like it's cutting. Well, there is a unique challenge in the springboard event that we don't see in other events, and that's our competitors are cutting 2 species of wood in one event. They're cutting tulip poplar in the pockets at the bottom, not necessarily with the slope you would see in a standing block chop, and then they're cutting white pine in the block at the top with more slope. So you've got to sort of balance your axe choice a bit, where your axe might seem really great in the pole, in that freshly peeled tulip poplar, but then you get to the pine at the top, it doesn't love it as much. So we may have seen that with O'Connell a little bit.
Well, yeah, I've experienced it where if you're using an axe that's too thin, you put it into tulip popper straight in. I've left 50-cent chunks out of my axe because it's too thin of an axe. It's ready to go in the white pine. The tulip popper can be firm. When you're hitting it straight in with just the heel of the axe, there's not enough steel to support that.
Hardware.com. Choose in-store pickup or free delivery to your door.
Ace is the place with the helpful hardware, folks.
Duluth Trading Company was born from generations who showed us that the only way to live life is to live it hands-on.
To do it the hard way. To take the trail untrodden. To take the damn thing apart, put it back together, and have the world be better for it.
We don't think that the go all in, dig deep, and get your hands dirty spirit exists in everybody.
We know it does. Duluth Trading. Take on life with your own 2 hands.
Let's roll, let's go.
When we work in harmony, anything is possible.
Just 3 words tell you everything you need to know. They tell you why we employ more than 2,000 workers at our factory in Virginia Beach, and why over 10,000 local steel dealers are putting battery power in the hands of Americans. Not everyone can say that, but we can. Made in America. Real steel. Find yours.
Well, our next discipline coming up is the stock saw, which on its face looks simple. Looks way less complicated, and from some angles, it is less complicated than a springboard event. But Dave, the margin for error is so much smaller in this discipline.
It's very difficult. You have to train it. We saw it this morning. We had one of the U.S. pros race one of the firefighters. We had one of the U.S. pros race against one of the firefighter athletes who was an arborist, and he had a little trouble with that upcut. He was unfortunately disqualified, but we let it go. But it sounds like they're ready to go. The music is turned down, so let's do it. Heat 1, Bradley Kittle versus Chester Isaacson. Kittle on stand 1, Isaacson on 2. And I tell you, once they step on the stage, technically they are competing. It's an active competition. Why? Ear, eye, leg protection, protective apparel. If you step foot on that stage, your protective apparel is not in place. That's a disqualification. You're going to be asked to dismount the stage. You won't even be competing. So the event, as far as I know, is underway. Watch for safe start of the saw. 2 cuts, down, up,
Warm
4
up
inches.
Your saws. Athletes ready.
Stand to your timber. 3, 2, 1, go!
Both of these guys quick and clean to the wood, getting everything they can out of those MS 661s.
Well, it's got to be very close, but stand 2, taking the win. But both athletes looked real good. Again, 4 inches of wood to make 2 complete discs. And Isaacson a little thick on that second disc. We see line on the bottom is still there on the top. But again, that 4-inch line must be remaining. And that ear, hand, eye coordination, we can't mention it enough.
Oh, yeah, you just get a feel for that sweet spot and that torque RPM line.
Both cuts are good.
And sometimes those are the best words you can hear right there.
Well, yeah, you never want to see that yellow flag come out. We haven't seen it yet. Everyone's running clean. Everyone's running smart. Safe starts with the saws too. 3 points of contact. So there's a lot going through your mind right before go, and then you do have to attack it. A safe cut is dangerous. You've got to attack it and go after these.
Yeah, and the stock saw event, it is all about walking right up to that edge and with your toes hanging off of it, but not falling over it. And what I mean by that is you're pushing these saws to the absolute maximum capacity of the chain, the absolute maximum capacity in terms of their horsepower and torque. And you can tell when you're right in that sweet spot, just a fraction more, and that saw will stuff up on you in an instant.
The STIHL MS661CM stock saw is used in STIHL Timbersports as the ultimate test of operator skill. Designed for the toughest jobs in forestry, it produces approximately 7.3 horsepower, has a displacement of 91.1 cc, and weighs 7.4 kilograms. To ensure evenly and fairly matched saws, professional STIHL technicians prepare and test the saws before each competition.
One heat in the books. We're getting ready for heat number 2 of the stock saw event. A little bit of cleanup, a little bit of squaring up the logs, and we'll get a fresh mark around both of these blocks. Dave, you mentioned earlier about training for this stock saw discipline. What is the approach? Like I'm thinking of some of the people that really spend hours and hours and hours talking strategy with stock saw. But when it comes time to train, are you looking at this as a whole? Are you looking at it in terms of parts?
I think it's done in stages. I think you go out one day, you work on the retrieval. Some athletes like Maddie Slingerland has just perfected the one-hand retrieval.
Quick
hitting
draw.
that throttle, hitting the top handle, hitting that throttle all in one consistent motion. Not even lining it up. It's just picking up and into the wood. It's not picking up, lining up, looking at it, concerned about points. You're just in, and you're off and running. You work on that. Maybe you work on that one day. You make one cut. You test it. You race against your buddies. Next day, it's the transition over and over. You might start on a small log, on a 12-inch log, and you move up and you move up. And then you work on the transition, then that upcut, getting the same, listening to that sweet spot, as you call it, the RPMs. And then you get your buddies that you're going to race against. And you throw a barbecue and you say, come over, we are going to race. And we're going to race over and over, and it's the best training. You try to mimic the competition, the energy, the feel of being on stage. You can always get close, but it's just not the same as being here. Well, all right. Heat 2 of the stock saw, Daniel Miner and Gavin Brumbo. You got Daniel Miner on one and left side of the stage, getting that carpet, getting that saw exactly where he wants it. It should be, when those hands leave, they want to come straight down, be in position. You know what happens if that saw is moved back? What's right in your way? That chain break. It's going to do what it's made to do. It's going to stop that chain.
Warm up your saws. Athletes ready.
Stand to your timber. 3, 2, 1, go!
Identical entrances into the wood. Boy, stand 2 is fast. Oh, we may have a little trouble on 2. It's going to be close. And he's going to be looking underneath that log. Brumbo, he's looking underneath. Is that line still there? We got beautiful discs on stand 1. Sizzling. A thick second disc on 2 on that upcut.
Yeah, Brumbo's not the only one looking at that cut very closely. The line, you can touch the line, you can erode the line, you can take part of the line, but the line cannot be severed. A portion of that crayon must be intact.
Both cuts are good.
Kind of had that feeling as soon as Brumbo started walking across the stage. Before Rich even said that, you could see the smile. He knew he had a cut. He knew it was okay.
Yeah, and of course, if had he tried to line up and hover underneath the log to go for a thinner disc, you're losing the race anyway.
Yep, it'd be game over at that point. Dave, one of the things we haven't talked about with the stock saw, but it's a hugely relevant point. It's a round log. Right? You take that for granted, but it's a round log. That means your work at the top of the log is different than your work in the middle of the log, and it's different than your work at the bottom of the log.
Yeah, it's just muscle memory to know how the throttle responds, listening to the RPMs, because you're in a small surface area, but it can also be more pressure on a small area of chain. Once you get in the 16-inch, the middle part, you've got more pressure distributed over more chain, so you have to make the adjustment.
We're 2 heats into stock saw at this point, and look at this. As close, as tight as that was for Brumbaugh, he got it, didn't get a DQ, and that's good because that was a winning time, a leading time right now. Isaacson currently in second, Miner in third, and well, here's our times for that last round, or for our first 2 heats of the stock saw. I mentioned Brumbaugh. He was very close to that line. He did get a time, and it's a good time, an 11:63. Isaacson with 11:83. Daniel Miner at 12:03. And Kittle with a 13:42. Kittle had a rough go on that upcut. I feel like he was starting crooked on that upcut and was almost trying to steer the saw back in away from that line. That's not the fast way through the wood. You want to be on a straight A to B trajectory, and I felt like the 2/3 mark on that upcut, that saw really was slow through the timber for Kittle.
Yeah, Brumbo, he was a little fat on that cut coming up, but he knew it. He said, I've committed now, but he stuck with it. Yep. Kept listening to those RPMs, kept the field going. 11:63, that's going to be tough to beat. But with this heat coming up, there's two gentlemen that can do it. But 11, I'm looking at a lot of the personal bests here. Not many in the 11s. That's a tough, I tell you, that would mix it up with the pros.
Oh, absolutely. If in the professional ranks, if we're seeing a 10-something, 10 and change, we're getting super excited at that point. These guys are in the 11s. They're working their way there.
Heat 3 of the stocks are returning champion from last year, Andrew O'Connell, and his opponent, Will Chamberlain. Couple experienced stock Sawyers. Watch for that mid-11-second time to be in jeopardy. O'Connell, again, our returning champion, looking to grab some steel points back. A little trouble in the springboard. Well, here's the opportunity. You have to grab that opportunity, attack this stock saw. And Will Chamberlain, again, so accomplished, trains with the pros, trains with the Slingerlands, and boy, are they
Warm
good.
Warm up your saws. Athletes ready.
Stand to your timber. 3, 2, 1, go!
O'Connell.
Very fast to the wood. Very clean entry from both of these competitors, but it's going to be stand number 2. Wow.
Boy. And if you stock Sawyers are superstitious, but boy, is number 2. They're just winning over there. These are identical logs, but that's looking pretty good over there. Unofficially, look at that time. Unofficial, 11:29 for Will Chamberlain. A couple different angles. O'Connell came up with a quite steep angle on that upcut.
Yeah, really pushed through at the end. You can see the fuzz there on the top of that block.
Both cuts are good.
Well, a total different event. You did the springboard, the most strenuous event. Then you go to this. This is more of a finesse event. This time, 11:29. We're waiting. How'd you feel?
I felt really good. I've had a really interesting history with the stock saw at STIHL. So today it was, don't DQ, show that I've trained with some excellent guys who've taught me how to do it right, and I think I did it right.
There you go. Think fast, saw fast. Good job. We're going to wait on that official time. I'm 11. You got official?
Not yet. We're waiting to see
still
just
waiting.
to confirm. But
good job. I don't know if they changed that or not. I think it is 11. Well, there it is, as it shows.
Okay, we just got we got to make sure the judges pass everything. Everything looks good. Will Chamberlain, 11:19.
That is a personal best, and that is the fastest rookie time that I'm seeing on record.
We got Brumbaugh holding in a second there, that 11:63. The times are stacking in. You've got to be in the 11s to get in the top 3 and grab as many of those points as possible. So we've got 2 really great Sawyers coming up. Excellent operators. They've had the advantage of watching all of these other competitors go. So they see the time. They know what they got to go for. They know what the saws are doing. They know what the wood is like. It's theirs to win or lose.
Well, there's going to be one more heat of the stock side. They are chasing a national record. It is official. Will Chamberlain has just broke the national record in the stock saw. We'll see if he can hold on to that with 1 heat remaining. Fourth and final heat of the stock saw Andrew Fletcher with a personal best time of 11.51. He's chasing it down, and he's going to be going against our current overall leader, Tristan Van Beek. So this man on stand number 1, personal best 11.51. He's no stranger to being in the 11-second range. And we got the wood is here. The wood's here. The saws are running. The chance for that national record, it's just there. It's right in front of you.
At the same time, too, you've got to question, like, these guys have watched all these times. I hate to keep bringing up the R word, the rookie word, but in this case, is this going to be too much pressure applied to themselves? They see these 11s. Are they going to chase them too hard?
Athletes ready.
Stand to your timber. 3, 2, 1, go!
Van Beek, wow, smooth, thin, stand number 2. He is on pace, flawless. Oh, wow, that is going to be very close. Boy, Van Beek, a little thick on the upcut. Again, his facial expression, he has not changed it one bit. Clearly in the zone. When you talk about being in the zone, boy, Van Beek is just in the zone today. Thin cut, extremely thin in that first cut.
Uh-oh.
Now, there is a yellow flag that does not exactly mean, yeah, we got 2 of them join the party, but it does, are they going to DQ him, or will they look at the replay on that first thin disc?
Well,
first thin disc.
There's a whole lot of stuff going on here. Stand number 1 with AJ. He's got 1 cut. They're trying to determine if that is a complete disc or a complete cookie. And this is where the judges are going to confer. They're also talking about Tristan's cut, and they can go back to video. The question is, did the saw cut the entire disc? Did it pass through that entire disc?
And I think in Van Beek's case, from my view, that first disc was thin. It did look complete. So they'll look at the replay. Did that disc come off complete, hit the ground, then break on impact? And you're saying, well, I cut a thin disc. What more do you want me to do? I can't stop gravity. Yeah. And then they could still give Van Beek a good time. He's right around 11.3, 11.4. He's right in there for huge steal points. So we'll just wait on Russell and Rich Hallett make their final call here.
Well, this is where the whole Granite State team comes together that puts on this show. All the stage workers, you see all the scoring, the judging, the timing. You can see they're huddled around the tablet over there watching instant replay. They'll go back frame by frame. We've got this on about every angle you could imagine.
Oh, yeah, we got Nathan Waterfield over there too, sports director for STIHL. And I know he can't officially make a call. We have to leave that up to the head judges. But when they're looking this close, everyone's interested, especially for future reference. You're always gonna say, hey, remember we were in Virginia Beach. Van Beek made that perfect cut. They reversed the call. So a lot happening and a lot on the line for today and tomorrow.
Meanwhile, we've got 2 very anxious competitors who can only stand there. You guys want a chair? Can we get you something? A water? There we go. That's much better. I feel better for him now.
I didn't see what happened with AJ.
I believe it was the second cut on AJ got crooked on him. Was your second cut AJ? We can just ask him. Second cut for AJ was the one that got a little crooked.
Are you looking at the top of the line? Is the top of the line compromised? Is that what they're looking at?
No, they got one of his discs.
Okay.
Yeah.
So both athletes, they're questioning how complete the discs are.
I believe so. There's a whole lot of stripes coming back to the stage right now.
All right, gentlemen, we reviewed multiple videos. On stand 1, we determined that there was incomplete disc, DQ. Stand 2, finger was not across the line at the start. We rule it a false start, also a disqualification.
Well, we were almost flawless, Rich. No disqualifications in the Springboard. We made it to the last heat of the stock saw, and 2 yellow flags, and just crazy things are happening at Virginia Beach. We haven't seen the finger. What is the rule? Tell us about that. And where are these cameras that are seeing 8 fingers?
Yeah, so we need fingers on the top of the log, and we have a line on the top of the log. So the rule is that line needs to come across 4 fingers of both hands before go. And we have a camera, you can see in the back here, mounted right over the log looking down. And so we have the ability to go back to the video. Jonathan thought there was a false start over here. We talked about it, and we always review the video to check that. And he went over and checked, and we could see that the finger was not across the line on go. So it's a false start.
Thanks for your time, Rich. Here you go, Rich Hallett. Head judge, been around since the beginning.
Well, and we'll take a look at the leaderboard here real quick. Will Chamberlain is going to come out on top of the heap with that 11.19 with Brumbaugh in second. Andrew O'Connell doing himself a whole lot of good with that 3rd place finish. Remember, Van Beek was our points leader coming into the stock saw, and really things just kind of unraveled. He's got some more disciplines to regroup and recoup and pull back some steel points, but I want to go back to that penalty for Van Beek because there's 2 potential scenarios there. The ruling was that he did not have 8 fingers across the line on the top of that log. Well, there's 2 ways that can happen. One is he never had 8 fingers across the line on the top of that log. He may have set up and had his hand just a little bit too far around the near side of the log, just anticipating sliding off there super quick. The other reason is he may have had 8 fingers across the top of that log, across that line, but at the time of go, when they synchronized the video with the go, they weren't there then. In other words, he jumped the gun. He may have started with 8 fingers across the line, but when the camera went off at that go, his hands had already moved. AJ on stand number 1, an easier call, incomplete disc, a really tough break for AJ.
You know, this is, unfortunately, for Van Beek, it's a disqualification, but this would have never happened if STIHL Timbersports hadn't gone worldwide, okay? Yeah. Now there's stock sawyers all over the world. Stock sawyers in Europe breaking world records. Now everybody is chasing stock saw world records. And then they eventually said, hey, wait a minute, we've got to get a camera because everyone was starting to cheat. Yeah. We know it. I tried pretty hard to cheat, but now I said, oh no, they've got a camera looking straight down and they never miss it at 120 frames per second. They're grabbing every DQ.
Yep, absolutely. So let's go. This is where things got really interesting. You take your winner of the Springboard and you put them at the bottom of the pile in the stock saw. And let's take a look at our overall leaderboard. That just catapulted Brumbaugh, Chamberlain, Isaacson up to the top. O'Connell passes Van Beek with a solid but not epic performance in the Springboard, and also a good run in the stock saw. So that whole point scheme just got put in a blender and spun around pretty hard. So we're going to take a quick break. When we come back, you can see the action happening here with Granite State and the stage crew getting ready for the standing block chop.
Let's roll, let's go.
When we work in harmony, anything is possible.
Just 3 words tell you everything you need to know. They tell you why we employ more than 2,000 workers at our factory in Virginia Beach, and why over 10,000 local steel dealers are putting battery power in the hands of Americans. Not everyone can say that, but we can. Made in America. Real steel. Find yours.
Your neighborhood Ace carries a full lineup of steel, gas, and battery outdoor power equipment and accessories. Shop STIHL at acehardware.com. Choose in-store pickup or free delivery to your door.
Ace is the place with the helpful hardware, folks.
Duluth Trading Company was born from generations who showed us that the only way to live life is to live it hands-on.
To do it the hard way. To take the trail untrodden. To take the damn thing apart, put it back together, and have the world be better for it.
We don't think that the go all in, dig deep, and get your hands dirty spirit exists in everybody.
We know it does. Duluth Trading. Take on life with your own two hands.
Standing block chop. At the standing block chop, the felling of a tree with an axe is simulated. A vertically positioned wooden block with a diameter of 30 centimeters has to be cut through both sides. A powerful and precise swing with the axe is the premise of a good result.
Let's do it all over again. I'm getting confused here. Heat 1 of the standing block chop. On stand number 1, Daniel Miner, and his opponent on stand number 2, Bradley Kittle. Well, Dave, there's certain people around the world, certain people in the country that are going to see this event as an improvement to the springboard. We got rid of that annoying pocket, that annoying climb. We can just cut the block at the top. There's guys like Adam Lethko, though, that are saying, man, I wish we'd go up like 3
Athletes
boards, 4
ready.
boards.
Stand to your timber. 3, 2, 1, go!
Watch the power and accuracy. Look at the size of this man, Bradley Kittle. Massive swing. Reaching the far wood exactly. It's just all about axe presentation. A beautiful front by Daniel Miner, throwing his whole body into it. Absolutely flawless technique, broken the near and the far, and that is textbook standing block chop. What a cut from Daniel Miner. Dave, we talked earlier about the disassembly process with these blocks, and that's exactly what I saw from Daniel Miner. A very smart cut, a very clean cut, took that block apart piece by piece.
Both cuts are good.
Daniel, what a great cut. You look so relaxed up here. I know it's your first year in the rookie division, but you look like you've been here before. Not much facial expression, all business.
Yeah, I mean, I just tried to come out and make like a really clean cut, just put up my best times, that's about it.
Since you haven't been here competing against these other athletes with this white pine, steel white pine, how do you know what axe to bring?
Luckily I had some testing with my friend Will. He helped me out a lot, but just kind of had to like full send it, I guess.
All right, great time, congratulations.
Thank you.
Well, full send for Mr. Miner, but I got to give him credit though again, because you can go full send and start spraying hits all over the place, but he kept it together. Beautiful, clean cut. Miner is going to pull a time 20.33. Kittle comes in at 23.02. Again, we got rid of that annoying springboard for some of these guys. They just let him cut the block. Well, it wasn't just the power and the accuracy, but it's also the retrieval. A lot of the newer athletes, they'll hit the log, and there'll be this fraction of a second where they sort of admire the hit. He's got that time and that in and out, releasing, breaking the wrist, letting the nose of the axe travel around, slice that log, and that is, especially at that age, to have that down already, he's steps ahead. No, look at a really clean cut, and again, putting the right hits in the right places and just taking that block apart. The difference between a near hit and a far hit on an up driver is seconds. You know, it's the difference between first and fifth. So for these guys to really know how to disassemble these blocks and have the patience when a hit doesn't go right to go back, pick it back up, and correct it, so you're not seeing that cascade effect trickling down and just ruining the rest of your chop. Some of the best thing these athletes can do if you've got 14 minutes and 30 seconds of time, is watch the David Bolstead standing block overview on Steel Timber Sports YouTube. He goes through step by step how to cut a standing block. Watch it, then watch it again, then watch it again, because he gives up everything. And it is one of the best training videos that any timber sports standing block chopper, whether you're a pro or whether you're a rookie, 14 minutes and 30 seconds. I'm telling you, it's the best. I've watched it, but David Bolstead, it was just one of the greatest things he did.
We lost him all too soon. An epic, an amazing cutter, and very giving of information, very giving of knowledge. And if you were wise enough to listen, you could really benefit from it.
Well, what he said, when he was doing that demo, he scooped, he took a miss hit, and he goes, those things happen. You retake the hit, and that happens. That miss hit happens. He was just like, no big deal. But, going back and crediting Daniel Miner, may have had a miss bit and didn't phase him, and then that's what David said.
I don't know if it translates with the camera or if the folks here in the crowd can see it, but around the top of these blocks there's some massive screws run into the top in a ring all the way around the top of the block. And that ring of screws is there to maintain the composure of this log. These guys are putting enough force into these blocks, or hitting them hard enough that a well-placed upward blow would slab or split the block from their axe blow all the way out the top of the log. It's obviously a huge advantage where they now no longer have to cut that whole upper portion of the log. By keeping it screwed together, they got to do all the work. No big advantage.
Heat 2 of the standing block on stand number 1, Chester Isaacson. And on heat number 2, his opponent and the leader overall in steel points, Gavin Brumbo. Both competitors fighting to represent the U.S. in Rotterdam in the Netherlands, June 10th.
Athletes ready.
Stand to your timber. 3, 2, 1, go!
Boy, synchronized chopping, 1-in-1 pattern. Now they're going to be hitting those corners. Here comes a slight advantage, Chester Isaacson. It looks like he's looking up. Both athletes turning in unison. This race it's going to be Gavin. Look at him. Gavin driving. Gavin broke on the near. Oh, you just saw it. He found more. Gavin absolutely found another gear, staring into the down hits in that backside.
Yeah, beautiful looking cut. I mean, that looks like it was run through a planer. The hits chasing each other, one right after the other. I don't know if Isaacson had trouble and stepped up on the backside, like if one hit got away from him, or if he really knew he had a really good stick and just shortened that face up so he didn't have to tear so much wood away.
He says it's a whole lot easier than speed climbing. Just stay on the ground and cut a standing block.
Both cuts are good.
Let's do that. Hey, Gavin. All right, Gavin, you're not going anywhere. This is the problem. Get up here. Oh, no, I need this guy. All right. Getting you all confused. I'm getting you all confused up here. Talk about that cut. Cutting beautiful. You're an accomplished chopper. Been working with David Weatherhead, speed climber, chainsaw carver, and no problem with the standing block, no problem with this crowd and this atmosphere.
Shout out to Timberworks. That cut, I was kind of just focusing on speed. I didn't place hits where I wanted to. Luckily, the block came off. But, I guess I got to slow down a little bit in my head.
Going to use that same axe in the underhand chop. It seemed to be cutting.
It seems to be cutting. That's what I used in the tree as well. I'm not exactly sure. I'm going to go back and I'm going to figure that out. Yeah, it's coming out free, so it feels good.
All right, you're breathing heavy. You got a single buck coming up. Go rest.
Thanks, Dave.
Great cut.
So I love the honesty from Isaacson there. I maybe gave him a little too much credit. I said, he might have been strategically bringing that hit up to shorten his face, but no, it was just a miss hit. He was free with that information. Look at the time coming in for Isaacson, an 1879. Brumbaugh, who is our points leader coming into this event, 21.86, settles him into the third place slot right now. One of the things I noticed, Dave, is as Isaacson was bringing his block out on the near stand, the closer one to us, you see a lot of these competitors, and you and I as well, tend to have a pretty well orchestrated plan laid out in the blueprints on the block. It shows both of the opening hits, top and bottom. You get an indication of the slope. You see a center line. Isaacson had kind of a more rough set of guidelines, if you will. He had a couple horizontal lines sketched out on there. Didn't really show the slope. There's actually two lines on the backside, a higher one and one that was stepped down a little bit. And for me as a chopper, that just created confusion. What mark am I supposed to go for? So that might be something for him to clean up. Just drawing on the block and having those clean, concise lines, knowing exactly where you want to hit is going to clear him up mentally.
Well, Kevin, you've coached a lot of timber sports athletes, as have I. I found the most frustrating thing is you teach these up-and-coming athletes how to draw the line, how to scientifically measure it out, and then, go up, and then they go up and set up their own block, and they just whip the lines on there. And it's a waste. It's disrespectful to the log. It's disrespectful to the time that you've given up to coach them. But you have to draw that line absolutely perfect, and you have to focus on that. Every athlete focuses on certain spots on the log. But if you're coming up at a 45-degree angle, mark that line at 45 degrees and absolutely focus.
You can see that with A.J. Fletcher. You can see he's measured out those marks. He's got his center line of his log. He knows where his bottom hit's going to be. He knows where his top hit's going to be. You can see the lines chasing around there. So execute a plan, generate a plan, and then execute that plan.
Kevin, what again is that time? Chester Isaacson. Are we talking, did you say 18?
Yeah, it was an 18-second range.
That's crazy fast. I'm looking at a lot of the personal bests, and only two of the athletes out here today have gone sub 18. They're coming up. Well, maybe 2 heats away. We got 2 heats left. And here we go. Heat 3. Andrew Fletcher on stand number 1 going up against Will Chamberlain. Well, I think you got to keep an eye on the man on the right side. The red squirrel, Will Chamberlain. Massive swing. Same thing in the underhand. Covers a lot of real estate. It's not just the length of the swing, he actually delivers properly, whether it's coming in with the heel, but he slices, makes the axe work. A.J. Fletcher, right there with him, though. Beautiful standing block cutter. Got his handle chalked up, a little bit of slide chalk, taking advantage of that.
Athletes ready.
Stand to your timber. 3, 2, 1, go!
Well, and I want to see how A.J. Fletcher recovers from that horrible DQ in the stock saw. He's got lots of opportunities to still gain points, and he's making a very smart, methodical cut here. Will Chamberlain around to the back.
Will Chamberlain had one bad hit in the front side. He had one down, got away from him. He retook it. Look at how beautiful that scarf is. And that is textbook standing block cutting. Well, that's great. Great cut by both of these athletes. Will Chamberlain, couple fist pumps, 2 fists skyward. He's got to be happy to be back here on the stage.
Yeah, great clean looking cut on stand number 2 from Will Chamberlain. You can just see, again, from our vantage point from the side, each hit followed the next right up through that scarf.
Both cuts are good.
All right, Will, you can't cut it. We're going to get the camera right on this. Come over here. Back up. Look at the hits on the backside, how they absolutely line up. That's one hit?
Yeah. I don't know, man. I was just looking at the wood. Outsides have been pretty crispy, so I wanted to make sure I had it there in the front. Messed up it down, so I had to retake it. That slowed me down, but, you know, I just... It's done.
Yeah, but it's absolute precision here, and it's hard for the crowd to see how accurate you really are, and then even your down hits, they lined up perfect. You seem to know right when that final hit was coming off.
Yeah, no, I'm feeling really good. I was thinking I might get one sooner. That's a fresh axe from Rob Spryan. It's absolutely mowing, so I tried to get away with one, but I need another, and still got it.
How's the strength in the hand?
It's good enough.
All right, good enough. Good job. Hey, big round of applause for Will Chamberlain.
Once again, Isaacson's on top of the heap with that 18.79, looking very strong with a sub 20-second time. Will Chamberlain, we saw the unofficial time around 21 seconds. He comes in officially 20.83. Again, Dave, tenths, hundredths, even thousandths of seconds can make a huge difference in some of these disciplines. And Will Chamberlain, good on him. I mean, this return effort for him, he is coming back very strong.
Looking at the time in front of me, it didn't happen today, but a standing block rookie time of 13.83 did happen on the Timber Sports stage. I'm not going to tell you which one of these athletes has cut that time, but that is the fastest rookie time. And the athlete that laid that time down will be up in just a moment. One heat left. Still around 18 seconds the time to beat, but I can't wait. I can't wait. These guys get going, and it's just unbelievable to see how fast they can cut.
Well, to take it one step further, both the competitors in this last heat have posted sub 18-second times last season. So, I don't know. We kind of hyped up that last heat of the stock saw, so I'm a little nervous to do that again since that resulted in 2 DQs. But the potential is here for 2 very fast times in this heat of the standing block chop.
Heat 4, the standing block from East Aurora, New York, the man who holds the record at 13.83, Andrew O'Connell. And his opponent from Pigeon Forge, Tennessee, Tristan Van Beek. I'll keep an eye on the man to your left, Andrew O'Connell. Struggled earlier on. You know he's just looking to attack this standing block chop, and oh, is he good at cutting wood, especially in this event.
Athletes ready.
Stand to your timber. 3, 2, 1, go!
Van Beek in slightly ahead, just calculated the go.
Very synchronized turns are going to both go. Oh, no, they're going to go 2 and 2 for O'Connell, taking a different approach as he opens up this block. Van Beek is already wiggling. There it is. Tristan Van Beek is going to come out one blow ahead of O'Connell, somewhere in the mid 16-second range.
Boy, I think O'Connell had that race. O'Connell opened. We talk about hitting your lines. We talk about the accuracy on those opening blows. O'Connell went awfully high on his down hit on the backside. He had to make a quick adjustment, kind of call an audible, shrink up the chip, but I believe he lost one hit.
That one hit was all it took in the end. Uh-oh.
Well, I think we might be looking at a slab. I'm not really sure. I didn't see a jump go. I know Van Beek was in first, I thought his timing was fine.
Well, I was about to say, Dave, that one of the things, especially in this rookie division, is the consistency or the need for consistency. And that's where we tend to see in the rookie division where things will fall apart for competitors. Might come out and win a springboard. Now it sounds like I'm directly addressing Tristan Van Beek, but you can come out and win a stock saw and then DQ in another event and vice versa, go back and forth. And we see these.
We didn't want to jinx this last heat. That was you.
Yeah, it was me. Thanks for bringing that up. And to be fair, this could all blow over. This is just kind of a warning shot. This is we saw something we're questioning. We want to go back and take a look at it.
I'm assuming it's the gun. I'm assuming Van Beek was flirting with the gun. There was a slab. One of these athletes, I believe it was O'Connell here, blew a big slab up, but they do have those screws.
Are in place.
The screws are all in place. If that was the case, they would have that log. We wouldn't be looking at video. Rich would have that log. But
Andrew doing a nice job demonstrating for us that he's got all the screws in place.
Well, you can see that top hit in the back, how high that was. I mean, he just missed ruining his axe on that white pine knock by about 1 inch. So I'm assuming they're looking at a potential jump gun.
Well, I love trying to judge his reactions. I'm watching. They're nodding. They're nodding. Well, nodding means it's okay. Nodding means he's thrown out. Let's find out from our head judge, Rich Hallett.
All right, gentlemen. After review, we determined the cut was good. What we were checking was for a possible wrench at the finish of the block. You're only allowed to cut with the axe and not pry with the axe. It looked like the axe got hung up a little bit at that last hit, and we deemed that the cut was good. Your cut was good.
So we were looking at the wrong end of this event. We were at the wrong end of the animal. We were watching for jumped guns. What Rich and the judging team was going back to look at is you heard him use the term wrenching the block. So you can strike with the axe, you can sever fibers with the axe, but when that block is nearly severed, sometimes you'll see guys pull on the handle, twist the head of the axe, and rip fibers of wood.
It was the near side down hit for Van Beek.
Yep. And they said it was good, it was fine, he didn't wrench. They watched the motion of the axe on instant replay, and that's very good news for Tristan Van Beek. Look at the times, Dave. Tristan Van Beek, our new leader, 16:62 over top of O'Connell with a 17:81. That is huge because they had inverted points based on stock saw results. This probably will flip them back again and put Van Beek back in front of O'Connell. But again, Gavin, a bunch of other competitors. Oh, here we go. Here's our, we're recalculating as we speak. Recalculating. You can see here figuring in the points of the standing block. We'll throw in some.
But you have to give Van Beek, regardless, you have to give him credit for going 2 for 2 in the chops today. And it looks like he is 2 points out of the number 1 position, held down by Andrew O'Connell, back up top.
Yeah, so O'Connell, if we look all the way to the right side of the screen there, O'Connell is your points leader right now with 18 overall points. Van Beek still down in the pile of ways, did himself a whole lot of good, though, with winning that single buck. It's going to take a couple of disciplines. You can't dig yourself out of a disqualification in one event. He's going to need to pull some serious wins out in the single. He's going to need to be at the top of the heap in the underhand. And he's going to have to throw a little shade towards O'Connell. O'Connell's going to have a slip-up, maybe not a full disqualification, but Van Beek needs a little bit of help to recover from that disqualification.
When was the last time we announced a rookie championship where after 3 events, we have 6 athletes within 5 athletes within 2 points?
Yeah, O'Connell in the lead with 18 running down through. We got a 2-way tie at second. We got a 2-way tie back at fourth. So we've got them really stacked up here.
And talk about new kids on the block. Literally, 2 of them are in that mix in the top 5.
We got 2 more disciplines. Be right back after a word from our sponsors.
Duluth Trading Company was born from generations who showed us that the only way to live life is to live it hands-on.
To do it the hard way. to take the trail untrodden, to take the damn thing apart, put it back together, and have the world be better for it.
We don't think that the go all in, dig deep, and get your hands dirty spirit exists in everybody.
We know it does. Duluth Trading. Take on life with your own two hands.
Let's roll, let's go.
When we work in harmony, anything is possible.
Just 3 words tell you everything you need to know. They tell you why we employ more than 2,000 workers at our factory in Virginia Beach, and why over 10,000 local steel dealers are putting battery power in the hands of Americans. Not everyone can say that, but we can. Made in America. Real steel. Find yours.
Your neighborhood Ace carries a full lineup of steel, gas, and battery outdoor power equipment and accessories. Shop STIHL at acehardware.com. Choose in-store pickup or free delivery to your door.
Ace is the place with the helpful hardware, folks.
Welcome back. We've had a great round of events. We've seen some heartbreak. We've seen some victory. We've seen all kinds of stuff. Now we're going to see some single buck. Take a look.
Single buck. The single buck is a one-man saw about 2 meters long. With this, the athletes have to cut off a complete disc of a 46-centimeter thick wooden block. The perfect interplay between rhythm and strength is the key to success.
First heat. Oh, the production truck, the production trailer loves me. First heat of the single buck, Andrew Fletcher on stand number 1 against Chester Isaacson.
Well, Dave, let's talk about this a little bit. This is just part of the dance of the single buck event as these guys come out to the stage. Talk about the preparation. This is your baby. This is your world. I know you'd rather be up there in this moment than sitting here with me.
Yeah, it was. Well, there's something about going up and having confidence in yourself. It's really easy to go up to the springboard and boy, I hope I can cut the pocket today. Or the stock saw, I hope I get the retrieval right. I hope I have 2 clean discs. For me, the single buck, I knew I was going to cut right. You just feel in control, and you got to love that event. And your best event has to be your best event. You have to win it. But again, single buck, you're looking at $6,000 of saws up here. They're oiled up. They're going to be allowed a wedger. No spray, but you can see they already have the saw lubricated.
Athletes ready. Stand down. Stand down.
So we're just going to re-rack the cadence, let these competitors stand up, make sure their feet are in the right place. And again, we've got the sandpaper paint on this dock is so critical, especially in this event when you're just driving off your feet. A.J. Fletcher's got the spikes on. He's not messing around. He's going to make sure he is dug in. Chester Isaacson's got the flat. He trusts that sandpaper grit on the deck is going to work. Both athletes running a couple KBT saws coming out of Tasmania. Brad Turner has been supplying some great saws to the professional ranks and to the rookie division here, and we'll talk about that for a second. Everybody knows I kind of gave him a little heck saying I think you can get those saws dialed in, get them calibrated a little better, so you got to give credit to KBT. They've stepped up. A lot of competitors are saying my best saw is a KBT saw. And they're coming out again, coming all the way from Tasmania. So it's great to have filers. You got them up. You got Mercier up in Quebec. You have Donald Lambert in Quebec filing saws. You have from Scottsville, New York, Paul Finnegar. You got Brad Turner in Tasmania, and a lot of these plates coming out of Masterton, the North Island of New Zealand, where these plates are made.
Well, and it's encouraging too, Dave, because for a while the art and science of saw filing was really waning. We were losing saw filers. There wasn't a lot of upcoming talent. There weren't a lot of people really interested in taking on this skill set. For a while, it was really down to maybe, I don't know what, 2 guys worldwide who were still turning out exceptional competition saws. And now we're starting to see a whole new group, a whole new category of saw filers come out. And that's encouraging. It's encouraging for the sport.
Well, it used to be this peg and raker saw. That was the only technology. Then an M-tooth, where there was no rakers, it was just a tooth. The tooth did the cutting and it cleaned it out. M-tooths took over the world. And then I got to give credits to the French Canadians for bringing back the peg and raker, but it was really Jim Taylor out of Northern California. He started making some, and it was Jason Wynyard and a lot of the bigger athletes started winning with these peg and rakers. And J.P. Mercier come along and says, I've got a different version. He put one in my hands. I started winning. Then Taylor got back up on top. And then Eddie Fawcett in New Zealand said, oh, wait, I'm going to get into the game here. Then all of a sudden, these peg and rakers are coming from everywhere. But I think you've got to give the credit to North America for bringing the science back.
It is. It's an art and a science. And if you look at those old rusty crosscuts that so many people have hanging over their fireplace mantles, the physics is the same. The structure is the same. But I didn't do it. I couldn't do it. But these filers have run that technology out to just a razor's margin, where these tools are every bit as sharp and every bit as fragile as the $700 competition axes we see out here.
Right, and you're not going to take this $3,000 white pine saw, you're not going to take it down to Australia and cut eucalypt. All the points will snap off. You have to have these saw doctors recalibrate the raker, the height between the tooth and that cleaning raker that comes through. Everything has to be recalibrated. Nor can you take your hardwood saw or radiata pine in New Zealand. You can't really bring it up. You can cut, but you're going to be out of the race.
So there's a lengthy rules discussion. I think we've come to the
Wedges
end of
are
it.
Okay. Yeah. All right, you guys ready? Sorry about that. Athletes ready.
Stand to your timber. 3, 2, 1, go!
Here we go. First hit of the single buck, 40 centimeters of white pine. And look at A.J. Fletcher running the whole saw, but a slight hang up. Here comes Chester Isaacson. He's blowing out the bottom third. One more stroke, and there it goes. And the fist pump. He's happy about that.
Yeah, he's near the top of the pile in terms of overall points, and he really wants to get all the way to the top of the pile. And Dave, just like the stock saw event, again, it sounds like an obvious point, but we've got to point out we're dealing with a round log here. And the bottom section of that log, that bottom third, is where that timber starts getting smaller and smaller and smaller, and that extremely heavy saw just sits on a very small number of teeth. If there's going to be a problem, that's usually where it happens.
All right, gentlemen, both cuts are good.
Great cut, Chester. Tell us how confident do you have to be to run the whole saw? And it looks like it just bit you a little bit, and the lower stroke, that last final stroke in the small wood, what could you have done different?
Focused on my window for sure. I've been working with Matt Slingerland, Adam Lethko a lot down in Tennessee. Big shout out to Caleb Graves. He's let me use his saw, his axes today, and as you've seen, they've been cutting really well. Big thanks to Caleb. Focusing on that window. Matt and I worked a lot about focusing on far wood, make sure I'm cutting.
So what he's talking about, the windows, when you push forward, you open up a little bit. What it does is it lays the teeth down on the far side of the wood. You can't see it. The saw is in the wood, so you have to know that opening up, say, a half an inch, you know you're laying the teeth down there, and then the same thing coming back, cutting wood on the pole.
Right, right. And I'll be honest, Dave, that was a really good cut for myself. I'm happy with my time. I could have ran smoother, and I think I could have ran a lot more aggressive, honestly. But single buck is really new to me. So I'm very happy with what just happened there.
Congratulations. Great cut.
Thank you. Thanks, Dave.
Well, first heat is in the books, and Isaacson a 13:10. We might see that time get beat, but again, it's all about setting personal bests. And I think that was a really exceptional cut. He's working with some of the best names in the business, and he is going to continue to get faster from there.
And what a great example on how Timber Sports is such a family. Him crediting his buddy for lending him the saw. Who was that? We know that athlete. Who was that lent him the saw?
I think he said Brandon Graves, didn't he? He was throwing out so many names, and I guess that's the takeaway for me.
My point is how willing athletes are to lend out their gear. Like we said, to get these saws, it's a 2 to 3, 4 year waiting list, and sometimes you don't. You have the talent, you train, you don't have the gear, and that's where you ask your buddy, hey, I know you got a fast saw. Any problem if I run it this weekend?
Oh, absolutely. And also pointing out, like the guys coming up to wedge, you see our rookie competitors talking with a lot of our pro competitors, a lot of the names you saw that you'll see in our trophy event, a lot of the names you'll see on the professional stage are here helping with equipment, with knowledge, and that's what's going to keep this sport growing.
And, of course, the athletes that can't make it, they're all home watching the live stream. So everybody, Timber Sports athletes all over the world watching this event today. All right, let's go. Heat 2 of the single buck. On stand number 1, Gavin Brumbo. And his opponent on stand number 2, he's back, Will Chamberlain.
You hear Nathan Waterfield hollering from the side of the stage, the 30-second warning. That is one thing that has changed in this sport over the past couple of years is the time allowed to get set up. It has gone for, yeah, go ahead, we'll figure it out, get set up, we'll make time for it, to you now have 1 minute to come out on the stage, get your starting cut, get your feet set, and then we're going to go.
A couple different angles being demonstrated right here. I like Will Chamberlain. It's kind of a new school level
Athletes
style.
ready.
Stand to your timber. 3, 2, 1, go!
Oh, a slight hang by both of these competitors. You see Chamberlain just digging in with spikes. Oh, here he goes. Gavin is in and going for it.
Yeah, Gavin is motoring down through the bottom of this block. What a tremendous cut. Great run. Will Chamberlain sticks with it. Not the cut he wanted to have, but he managed to hold it together.
And a very thin cut for Chamberlain. Nevertheless, it's a legal cut. But again, these saws, they're 15 pounds, they're razor sharp, and it's very difficult to teach a competitor that you want to cut with loose hands. You want to stay loose. You want to keep that saw fluid. You tend to death grip it, go white knuckles, problems happen, but again, it's a science.
Both cuts are good.
Well, Dave, you mentioned not wanting to death grip that saw. That introduces a whole lot of problems. If you can picture that saw moving back and forth, or that handle moving back and forth, the handle needs to rotate inside your grip slightly. And if you are just absolutely muckled down on this thing, squeezing the sap out of that handle, or a lot of aluminum handles now, I guess, too, that handle can't rotate. And by that handle being unable to rotate, you're now putting torsion, you're putting torque into that system and bending the plate of the saw.
Yeah, this is something that it drives me crazy, and I say it over and over. I feel that the single buck, some days I feel like it's devolving because there's so much to be gained, and these competitors, they can see what I've done. Starting with the handle, I'm going to gripe about this. These stinking handles that they've got on the single buck saws, a lot of times the plate that connects the handle to the saw it's awfully wide. You want those hands absolutely directly together. You want your hands straight together, almost so this forearm gets right behind the bolt that directs the power into the saw. If your handles are far apart, your energy is going to go from the forearm, it's going to hit the handle, have to make a right turn, come up, then make another right turn, and you lose control of the teeth and the rakers. So what I'll do, you have a small bolt that connects the handle to the saw. I'll come up, I'll curl that right finger under. That brings my hand even higher. That way it's direct drive from your arms, driving with the legs, and it goes straight through this handle into the saw and directly into the teeth that you're focusing on. But there's no rule that says you can't get a handle, not to mention how many athletes have handles that weigh 2 pounds heavier than they should weigh. That's loss of energy.
That's all that energy or all that material you have to now start and stop and change directions every single time.
I don't get it. Don't get me started, Kevin.
You're already going. I don't have to.
All right. Intros. Third heat of the single buck. Daniel Miner versus the big man Bradley Kittle. Bradley Kittle, you know, he got his pilot's license when he was in high school. I was going to say the height of the Springboard didn't bother him one bit, considering he was flying planes in high school. Such an interesting athlete. What a nice guy. The big man at 6'8", 300 pounds. He played basketball, and now he's into timber sports.
And that height plays into advantage in this single buck event because he can be up and above that saw and just throttle down through.
Well, he showed me a video of himself training on a log this size. He cut it in 8.5 strokes. His technique wasn't perfect. He cut it in 8.5 strokes. This guy is such a future in this event of single bucking.
Athletes ready.
Stand to your timber. 3, 2, 1, go!
Boy, Bradley Kittle has that slight hang. Look at him absolutely bury that saw. Bradley Kittle, he's in it now. If he can just control.
Back into that small wood at the bottom. He drives it off. 12.56 shown on the unofficial time.
And I tell you, Daniel Miner, he cut beautiful. Had a little hang up at the top. Once he got going, didn't pull the whole saw, but pulled it at the right angle and really made a great cut, just struggling to keep up with the power of Kittle. Talk to him about that.
Both cuts are good.
All right. Played basketball in high school. That wasn't enough. You got your pilot's license in high school. That wasn't enough. You're attacking timber sports. I was just telling Kevin and the whole crowd, you showed me this video of you training single buck. You cut a log this big in 8.5 strokes. Very few athletes in the world can accomplish that. But speed, you had a little trouble.
Yeah, so I got hung up a couple times there on the pull stroke. You know, it's an event that I've been training ever since I got into timber sports back at SUNY ESF. That's actually one of my good buddy Ben Carlson's saws, so shout out Ben. But yeah, I mean, always room for improvement, but I think there's a lot to be learned from that.
As strong as you are, even on that first push, that raker dug in, it kind of proved it doesn't really matter how strong you are, that saw will stop you.
Yeah, no, form is king, especially in the single buck. If you don't run that thing nice and smooth, right along that curve, it'll hang you up every time.
I think you got a great future ahead of you. Good luck.
Thanks, Dave.
A great future ahead of him and great time behind him. Kittle is going to nestle in at the top of the heap here. A 12:38 is going to surpass Isaacson's 13:10. Grabs him at this point a win in this event, or lead in this event. That'd be a nice 8 points to add to his score.
Yeah. And how much time did he lose? He hung at the top, hung at the bottom. I mean, you're looking at potential sub 10-second time in these 40 centimeter logs. It is not easy. I know Mark Boquin, probably best single bucker in the U.S. right now. He said, I hate these logs, the 16-inch, the 40 centimeter. You have to be so technical. Yep. He said you can't get away with bad technique. And then for a gentleman like Mark Boquin, you'll see him in the professional ranks coming up in Milwaukee, and just watch him tear those logs apart. But this is a tough log, incredibly technical cutting.
But you've pointed out in other events that we've done together, it's not just the time lost on that hang. It's not just that second. It is all of the other fractions of a second that it takes to get back on pace. Some of these hangs are so bad, they can pull you right off your feet. You might be on a push stroke where you are reared back and ready to just hammer down on this thing, and the saw stops you and knocks you right off your feet.
Heat 4 of the single buck. Andrew O'Connell on stand number 1 versus Tristan Van Beek on 2. Tristan Van Beek going 2 for 2 in the chops today. Can he follow that up in the single buck, going for a third win?
Remember, Tristan Van Beek is digging himself out of a points deficit, as we've seen A.J. Fletcher also working to dig himself out of that points deficit. O'Connell has been there fairly steady all through the day.
We talk about running the entire saw. There's rumors. I was talking to Cassidy Shear. We'll see in the pro ranks. He has in his possession a 6'8" saw. They'll be running a 46 centimeter in the pros, but I can't wait to see. I agree with it. If you can control a 6'8" saw, you're going to win. So stick around Milwaukee, see what's going on with Shear.
Every direction change is lost time. Longer saw, less directional changes, out opposed to winning time.
Athletes ready.
But you got to control it.
Stand to your timber. 3, 2, 1, go.
Identical sawing stances. O'Connell, I love it. Look at this. Already to the middle of the log. No hangs. Beautiful technique. Level. And a slight glitch at the bottom. That's going to be a complete cut. But O'Connell absolutely putting on a clinic, but again, trouble in the bottom 10th of that log. So as long as Rich Hallett can put that cookie back together, it will be legal. I believe that will be legal. The disc broke. The teeth stayed in the disc, and what was remaining, O'Connell was able to complete the disc. So I don't believe you'll be seeing any yellow flags. Van Beek, a hang at the top, and just could not recover from that. O'Connell just ran away with it.
Cuts are good.
Andrew, boy, just a great cut. I didn't want to jinx you. I know you can probably hear us. We're right over your shoulder here. It was perfect. It was perfect. Your levels, the angles never changed. You didn't deviate. That last 1 inch, something happened.
I tried to stuff the saw and push it off on that stroke, and I knew I shouldn't have, but it didn't work out.
Yeah, I know what you mean by stuffing the saw. You try to deviate. You try to heel in those near teeth, and it can bring you to a dead stop, and it does what the saw is not meant to do. Every tooth is meant to follow the tooth ahead of it, and so on and so on. But you were able to have the presence of mind to keep it against the saw, keep it against the wood, maintain it, and make a complete disc. It's a legal cut.
Yeah, luckily it didn't pop off the cookie. I was able just to finish a stroke and get a good cut.
You got an underhand chop coming up. What do you think?
Oh, yeah, they're good logs. Let's see what happens.
All right, you're the returning champion. 1 event to go. Give it everything you got. Regardless, Andrew O'Connell, he's our returning champion with 1 event left to go.
Well, there you have it. In black, white, and orange, O'Connell is on top of the leaderboard right now in the single buck event, a 12:01. You may have seen some different times flash around up on the screen. There was a 10-second showing for a bit. That was the initial reaction to the disc breaking. Then, based on video evidence, we went back and we recalculated, and brought in that last bit of time. So that's where that 12.01 came from. Doing himself a lot of good if he can stay consistent. And again, a great underhand cutter. Dave, I wanted to get your input, though. To me, it did not sound like that saw was cutting. And so I don't know if it was just he was running it so effortless that it was doing the work without sounding like it was doing the work, or if that saw also sounded a little skatey to you.
I thought it was, but I thought it suited him. And maybe that's just what it's all about. It suited him. It was a safe cut. If you make the saw more aggressive, it's also more dangerous. It's going to come back and bite you. It's going to dig in. I mean, look at his time. He's 12 seconds. If he didn't have that was not just a hang. It stopped. He had to keep the saw on the wood. He lost 2 seconds there. That's a 10-second cut all day long if he can sort that out.
Absolutely. Well, he did himself a whole lot of good with that performance in the the single buck event. O'Connell getting 8 points for that win. Kittle doing himself a whole lot of good too with a second place finish. That is his best go in any discipline today, grabbing 7 points. Shift your attention all the way to the right side of that screen. There's our overall points. O'Connell now taking his spot solely in control of that lead in overall points. And then Dave, you talked about the stack up behind there, the points traffic jam. Isaacson, Van Beek, 22 points each. Brumbaugh with 21 points each. And even Chamberlain, 17. They're stacked right in there behind each other. So a lot of guys in striking distance of O'Connell and that lead. He's got to put up a good cut in this underhand.
Yeah, 5 athletes mathematically in it. O'Connell just has to make a good cut, but not think about it. He doesn't want to think about here in Virginia Beach. He doesn't want to think about representing the U.S. in Rotterdam. And the only way to do that is you have to think like a pro. He's going to be, we all know, we're going to see him in the pro ranks. We know it. He's got to fast forward, have that professional mindset. And, when I interview him, he's calm. He's calm. He just looks like, yep. He looks like, I'm going to win this rookie trophy. Go find your own rookie trophy to win, because this is mine today.
Tell you everything you need to know. They tell you why we employ more than 2,000 workers at our factory in Virginia Beach, and why over 10,000 local steel dealers are putting battery power in the hands of Americans. Not everyone can say that, but we can. Made in America. Real steel. Find yours.
Your neighborhood Ace carries a full lineup of steel, gas, and battery outdoor power equipment and accessories. Shop STIHL at acehardware.com. Choose in-store pickup or free delivery to your door.
Ace is the place with the helpful hardware, folks.
Duluth Trading Company was born from generations who showed us that the only way to live life is to live it hands-on.
To do it the hard way. To take the trail untrodden. To take the damn thing apart, put it back together, and have the world be better for it.
We don't think that the go all in, dig deep, and get your hands dirty spirit exists in everybody.
We know it does. Duluth Trading. Take on life with your own 2 hands.
Let's roll. Let's go.
When we work in harmony, anything is possible.
Well, it's worth taking a look again here. Dave and I were talking during the commercial break about points and how he got here and whatever. on top of the heap. Andrew O'Connell with 26 points. Had a bit of a struggle in the Springboard event, but all in all has had a consistently strong day. We saw Van Beek with a DQ in the stock saw event, but look at the effort, just the Herculean effort Tristan Van Beek has done to come back within 4 points of the leader, showing 22 points overall as we roll into the underhand chop.
First heat of the final event of the day, the underhand chop on stand number 1, Bradley Kittle. And his opponent on stand number 2, one more big round of applause, AJ Fletcher.
Athletes ready.
Stand to your timber. 3, 2, 1, go!
Look at the speed of AJ. AJ not waiting around. Oh, slightly stepped off that log. These 30-centimeter white pine logs. You see they've cut the flat footholds out. And it is illegal to cut through those flat areas. That would be a disqualification. Bradley Kittle, look at the monstrous power of this man.
And Dave, I don't want to be that guy, but I got to be that guy. You talked about the flat area these guys stand on. I've seen flatter. Kittle's driving off with epic power, but I see these guys with, I see AJ Fletcher with chips under his right foot. I see Kittle with some knots sticking up. That, as a competitor, that would drive me insane.
Well,
I want to just see like hardwood floor, gym floor, bowling alley quality surfaces to stand and work from.
Yeah, no, you're not allowed to, again, it's a disqualification to cut into those flat footholds. Rich Hallett looking awfully close at Bradley Kittle's log there. He got a couple hits that sprayed out awfully wide.
Both cuts are good.
So there you go. Looks like about a 39-6. It's going to be the time to beat by the big man here, Bradley Kittle, in his first appearance in Steel Timber Sports in the rookie division.
Well, Dave, we got a great vantage point looking down at the block from Kittle there. Look at the wood fibers just torn apart in the middle of that log. He just crushed his way through the guts of that thing.
See his drive side, how accurate his drive side is, but those chip hits, he's going to have to work on that stair-stepping. Every time you miss, you stair-step. You're losing penetration in the log.
Yeah, ideally, each hit chases the last one in perfect sequence because you've done more work than you know. There's a little bit of extra cut inside that block where the edge of the axe has come back out. If you can line that axe up and chase that hit in, you can take advantage of those little micro fractions of wood that you've already cut. If you're stepping over every time, you might be backing yourself out an inch and a half on every single hit, just recutting wood you've already done the work for.
And a lot of that comes down to just foot placement. Lining up your toes, lining up your shoulders, keeping your feet flat. A lot of athletes, they get overly excited. They come up on their toes. Some athletes go way back on the heels, but I have to go to Lawrence O'Toole, the famous Australian timber sports underhand champion. He just says push straight down. Keep your feet flat. Keep all that pressure going straight through the log, straight through the ground, and just bring all that power through your feet. Bolstead said the same thing in that standing block overview. Feet flat.
Absolutely. And can we go back to what I just said at that last heat? If your feet are going to be flat, your footholds have to be flat. Right. We need smooth, level surfaces for these competitors to stand on, and we're not seeing it from the rookie competitors. They're kind of banging in these footholds close enough, but I can see there's valleys, there's hills, there's loose chips, there's things tipped over to the side. That would drive me nuts. I can't stand on that block. I will feel that through the soles of my shoes. I want to be flat-footed just like I'm standing on a stage.
You were a professor in high school. What would you do about that?
I'd give them a C- and tell them to do it again.
All right. Well done, Kevin. Second heat of the underhand chop on stand number 1, Daniel Miner. And his opponent on stand number 2, Chester Isaacson. And what a day both these athletes have had in their first appearance on the stage in this rookie division. You see Chester Isaacson wearing those flats. We call them volleys, flats. Almost like a roofing shoe, just digging right in, having that foot all full contact on the face of the log.
Athletes ready.
Stand to your timber. 3, 2, 1, go!
Great extension from Isaacson on stand number 2. Again, just like the stand and block, just like the springboard, this needs to be a strategic disassembly. Pairs of hits lift chips out of the block. Watch as they come around to this other side. One in the guts, one up high, stepping in a little bit. Boy, technique advantage, you have to give it to Miner. He cut the top out, the middle, and one more in the bottom, and that is absolutely how you cut it. He opened the backside, cut the top out, and then he could see right down into the business, and it paid off, and he's going to win that heat. I also got to give Miner credit on stand number 1 on the left side of the stage. He reared back for that final blow, that final bottom driver on the backside. You'll see a lot of guys get anxious. They'll try to throw a quick little peck in there to get the block off. He absolutely scraped the ceiling with that last hit.
Both cuts are good.
Boy, Daniel, what a great cut. And so many of the Timber Sports athletes, they just think power, power, power. Axe placement, I loved how you opened up the backside. You cut the top of the wood right out. That way you kind of cut from the top down to the bottom. Is that intentional? Because I would say it was a beautiful technique and it worked.
Yeah, I was really trying to cut the top so I could do less chips and drive it off quicker, I guess, yeah.
Great speed, great ability. How was your day in your first day in Timber Sports?
I had a few rough events, but it's a pretty good learning curve for me. I'm pretty young, so I got like 5 more years at it.
All right, can't wait to see you back. Congratulations. One more big round of applause for Daniel Miner. Dave, I love getting the interviews with these competitors, the rookie competitors, and it always impresses me in this crop that we have coming in right now, the even keel, the calmness, just the moderate tone. At my stage in my chopping career, if I was standing on a stage like this and some guy's sticking a microphone in my face, I just been out of my mind. And it showed in my chopping at that time too. So these guys are coming into this, they're calm, they're cool, they're collected, they're working with the pros, and it's showing up mentally for them. Not just the physical aspect, but the mental aspect too. Well, I think that's what they're doing. They're creating a professional stage-like scenario at these training sessions. They're not just going and I mean, let's face it, there's a few kind of knucklehead pros out there that still haven't built themselves a flat stage to compete on. They're in the grass in the backyard, and they're in the dirt, and it's just not the way. It's not the way to be ready to prepare yourself. And a lot of them, they don't move on. A year after year, they don't advance. They don't advance. Now you're finding these athletes, they're building wooden stages. They're building the exact same platforms as similar as possible to this STIHL Timber Sports stage. So when they get up there, it's not just such a shock to your psyche. Should hire a DJ too. They should hire you and I. Yeah, we'll put that out there right now. I mean, the webcast is going out to obviously tons of spectators, but tons of competitors too. We'll figure out a pricing structure. Competitors can fly us, drive us in, whatever, and we'll just sit at the side of the stage and scream at them while they're competing. How are we going to do it without the production trailer yelling at us in our earpieces? We'll figure a way. We'll figure a way. All right, heat 3 of the underhand chop on stand number 1, Gavin Brumbo. And his opponent on stand number 2, the red squirrel, Will Chamberlain. The final event of the day. These guys are just gonna let everything go. They got their axes dialed in.
Athletes ready.
Stand to your timber. 3, 2, 1, go!
This is comeback time for Will Chamberlain. We've seen him recover from injury over the course of the last year, but Brumbaugh says not so fast. Look at the pile of chips stacking up for Brumbaugh. Got a little wild on that turn, but he's got a nice big open face. There's another big pile of chips in front of the backside of the block for Brumbaugh. Brumbaugh's hurt enough. He's taking this log off. Possibly one more in the bottom. There it goes. Blowing that log apart. Kevin, you can see it from here. The log just blowing from the chops right the length of the log. Rich Hallett looking very closely. Now, things got a little wild for Gavin Brumbaugh on the backside of that log on his opening blows. He did go a little wide. I think he's fine, but I'm not the judge. We'll let the judge be the judge. But things got a little wild for him, but he recouped. The one opening blow went wild. He followed it up right in line, though. He just readjusted and reset his plan.
All right, gentlemen, both cuts are good.
This is going to be close. We're not seeing the points restructured just yet, but one heat remaining in this 2023 Rookie Championship, and it's just going to come down to this last event. I remember back in the day when we first started, we've been calling the collegiate series back when there was a collegiate series back in the early 2000s. And it seemed like there was always one athlete that just ran away with it. It's not the case anymore. No, the races have gotten a lot closer, and again, that's a tribute to the work that these competitors are putting into it. The physical training, the mental training, they're getting equipment support. It's getting more serious. You and I joke about the early days when the rookie division was the college division, and we would go to competitions, and you'd hear talk among competitors like, well, which one of us is doing that timber sports thing? Yeah. Now it's a focus. Now colleges and local areas are having time trials, and it is a dogfight just to make it to this level. And you have to credit STIHL for hosting a lot of the training camps to give these athletes an opportunity where it used to be they'd have no chance other than going into a professional contest and mixing it up with the big guys, and it could just be demoralizing. Yeah, I remember being demoralized. A lot of demoralization. You demoralized me a couple of times. Guys like Wynyard, Bolstead, they demoralize. Mel Lentz, yeah. No, yeah. Let's not go into all those. Let's talk about overall standings, though, because you mentioned it. We've got two of our top competitors in this last heat of the underhand. Here's our overall standings as they sit right now without the points for Van Beek and O'Connell in the underhand chop, which we're about to see them cut. So even without those points, if O'Connell were to somehow cataclysmically fail and DQ, he would still end up third overall in points without any addition of points from the underhand. Tristan, he's got some more work to do. He's got to grab as many points as possible so that he can try to catapult himself back to the top of the field. I don't see it happen. I just don't see a disqualification happening. These guys are pros. They've been up here. They know they're pressure ready. I'm predicting no disqualifications. Heat 4, the underhand chop. Final event of the day, final heat of the day. On stand number 1, your leader overall, Andrew O'Connell. And his opponent, winning the springboard chop, winning the standing block chop, looking to go 3 for 3 from Pigeon Forge, Tennessee, Tristan Van Beek.
Athletes ready.
Stand to your timber. 3, 2, 1, go!
Keep your eye on the man on the left, trying to hold the lead. Fight off the competition, head down, pulling the heel right into the log. This will be speed and accuracy. Can he keep up? It's Van Beek, though, to the back. Van Beek with a 2-hit lead. Yeah, look at O'Connell, though. He has got a really good block opened up. He's got the top work done. I don't think he's going to reel in Van Beek, but again, he has a healthy points lead. Look at, he did too. Oh, no. Tristan Van Beek is going to get him, but boy, O'Connell was right there. I think O'Connell had just done that much more work on the front side of this log, and Van Beek may have taken out a loan on the front side that he had to pay back on the back.
So much just happened right there. Van Beek is going to now create a gap. He took out O'Connell in that heat, but he's going to create a gap between our virtual leader and this underhand overall.
Nice job, gentlemen. Both cuts are good.
We got some math to do, buddy.
Yeah, I packed my abacus, so we'll start calculating and looking at points. And we're gonna do a little math on this commercial break. We'll get you some results when we get back.
Your neighborhood Ace carries a full lineup of STIHL gas and battery outdoor power equipment and accessories. Shop STIHL at acehardware.com. Choose in-store pickup or free delivery to your door.
Ace is the place with the helpful hardware, folks.
Duluth Trading Company was born from generations who showed us that the only way to live life is to live it hands-on.
To do it the hard way. To take the trail untrodden. To take the damn thing apart, put it back together, and have the world be better for it.
We don't think that the go all in, dig deep, and get your hands dirty spirit exists in everybody.
We know it does. Duluth Trading. Take on life with your own two hands.
Let's roll, let's go.
When we work in harmony, anything is possible.
Just 3 words tell you everything you need to know. They tell you why we employ more than 2,000 workers at our factory in Virginia Beach, and why over 10,000 local steel dealers are putting battery power in the hands of Americans. Not everyone can say that, but we can. Made in America. Real steel. Find yours.
Welcome back to Virginia Beach. Our rookie national championships. We've got our underhand chop results on the screen there for you. Gavin Brumbaugh, a 23.66. That's going to grab him 8 overall points. Daniel Miner did himself a whole lot of good in that underhand chop, finishing in 2nd place overall, just about 3/4 of a second behind Brumbaugh. Isaacson also up there with a 25.33. Look at this, Will Chamberlain, 25.35, right off his heels. And then we get into some of the names we've been watching at the top of the heap, kind of dicing it back and forth. I think we're going to have a whole mix-up when it comes to the overall points battle. I think we're going to have some surprises coming in here, too. We've been talking about Van Beek and O'Connell, a lot of talk about the two of them duking it out today, and they have. They have not disappointed. Van Beek bested O'Connell in this underhand, but overall points still being calculated, tabulated. We want to get this right.
Yeah, I'm blown away. Kevin, do I have this right that the top 3 in the underhand are the 3 new guys?
Yeah, essentially we're looking at our reigning champ coming in down in 6th place in the underhand chop.
Yeah, some of our 3 out of 4 of the returning choppers from Little Rock are in that lower bracket. Not by far, not by much, but 1, 2, 3 hits just meant the world. That's why you got to give so much credit to these. I love to call them the new kids on the block, but they proved it in the underhand chop. Top 3. Phenomenal.
Okay, so we are ready with final overall results.
Coming in third place overall, Chester Isaacson. There you go. Big round of applause for Chester, coming all the way from the Wisconsin Dells. And taking second place from East Aurora, New York, Andrew O'Connell. And his first year in the Rookie Timber Sports Championships, winning, comes from Orbisonia, Pennsylvania, Gavin Brumbo. He will be representing the United States June 10th in the Netherlands, his first year as a rookie championship. And he'll be going overseas to Rotterdam in the Netherlands, representing STIHL U.S. Big round of applause one more time for our top 3 athletes. In here, Gavin. Clearly, you guys are all buddies. You all help each other out. You lend each other equipment. You're not sharing secrets. Tell us about the Timber Sports family. What is it like to be up here representing your buddies, representing STIHL, and you're going to be representing the U.S. in the Netherlands next month?
Oh, it's crazy. I get to go to the Netherlands. Never been out of the country, but I tell you what, everybody in STIHL, they are great. It's like one big family. They share everything.
Well, you're all on your own over in the Netherlands, but there's going to be some pros there with you. Now you got to stick around tomorrow. We've got the U.S. Trophy event, and whoever wins tomorrow, they're going to be going over with you. I mean, you're going to be rubbing shoulders with the best in the world. How does that feel?
Crazy. That's all I gotta say.
Crazy. Just plain crazy. That's good enough. Hey, one more big round of applause for our top 3. And we're going to be bringing the trophy out here, so stick around. Here they come. All right, give it up one more time. Gavin Brumbo.
Gentlemen, we can't thank you enough for coming out and supporting all of our rookie athletes. This is just the beginning for our competitors as they move on and they continue to advance bigger, better, badder every moment as we work along our way. I want to thank one last time the friends at ACE, Duluth Trading, John Deere, and of course our friends at STIHL for all helping us out put on this beautiful event. I want to invite you back too to join us tomorrow for the Trophy Championship from our men's professional event. It is going to be a 1 o'clock event getting started. All sorts of action back here in Virginia Beach. For Dave Jewett, I'm Kevin Holtz. Thanks for coming out, and I hope to see you all back here tomorrow again.